This is lesson 7.1.3 for Algebra 2. This is on expanding and factoring. We'll also do some factor by grouping. So these two terms don't really need explicit definition just because they're pretty self-explanatory, but common means shared. And factors are numbers or things, both or all terms are divisible by. So for example, if we had the expression 6x plus 9, both this and this, the 6 and the 9, are both divisible by 3, so we can pull a 3 out front. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so the common factor here would be 3. Because both are divisible by 3. The other thing, we've already discussed difference of squares, but difference of squares is basically two factors that create a zero middle term. So what you might see is x squared minus 49. That's a difference of squares because you can break this into x minus 7, x plus 7. When you FOIL those out, you get back to this where there's a zero term. This is basically x squared plus 0x plus 49. All right, so let's look at some examples. The first one, 21x plus 15. The common factor there is 3. Both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So if we pull that out front, 21 divided by 3 is 7x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. You can always check your answer. If you redistribute and you end up where you started, you know you're right. For number 2, 15 and 20, both are divisible by 5. So if we pull that out, 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4, so we do minus 4x. These ones look, the ones below here look a little bit more difficult, but they're actually slightly easier. You don't really have to think about multiples or dividing or anything like that. The first term here has x to the 5th power, which means there's 5 x's. This has x to the 3rd, which means there is 3. We need to look at what we can take out from both, and we want the greatest amount. So if this one has 5 and this one has 3, the greatest that we can take from both is x cubed, or 3 of them. If we had 5 but we took out 3, that means we have 2 left. If we had 3 but we took out 3, that means there's nothing, just that minus 5. If you redistribute this, you end up back where you started. For this one, number-wise, the 4 and the 12 are both divisible by 4. And then this one has 2 x's, this has 1. The most we can pull out from both is 1x. 4 divided by 4 is 1. We had 2 x's and we took 1 out, so we've got 1 left. 12 divided by 4 is 3. We had 1x, so we took it out. So you'll start to notice the pattern. You won't have to go through step by step by step each time. But the power of x will be reduced by however many you pull out front. For number 5, we have 3 terms in this one, and all 3 of them are even, so for sure we can take out a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 20 divided by 2 is 10, 32 divided by 2 is 16. The problem is we can't take any x's out because this term has no x's. So we'd end up with x squared minus 10x plus 16. And then we can factor this a little further, just like in section 7.1.2, where we look for numbers that multiply to 16 and add to negative 10. Our option here is this guy, so we go 2 times x minus 2, x minus 8. And then for number 6, we have 3 terms. All of them actually have an x, so we can pull an x out. All of them are also divisible by 3, so we can pull out a 3. So if we pull out a 3 and an x, each one gets reduced by one x value, and each one gets divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and then it's x squared. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and then it's just 1x. 36 divided by 3 is 12. We've just got 0 x's for that one. In this, the numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7 are 3 and 4. So we get 3x times x plus 3 times x plus 4. And then these two are examples of difference of squares like they mentioned on the first page. Real quick way to do it is to square root both numbers and then cut the power in half. So square root of 4 is 2, square root of 64 is 8. So we're going to go 2x, because we want half of that, plus 8 times 2x minus 8. From section 712, you guys hopefully will remember that you just need two opposite signs. So you have plus 8 on one and minus 8 on the other. For this one, we square root 36, which is 6. Square root 100, which is 10. Take half of that power, which is 1. So we get 6x and 6x plus 10 minus 10. I'm going to pause the video and we'll do the factor by grouping on the next one, just so we don't get cut off.